registering that. And there's a couple of different places that you can do it. Two companies that we recommend is name.com, especially if you're looking for a .com extension, so that last part to be a .com, or Domains for Less is a good place if you're looking for a .co.nz or a .nz. So two companies that we use. There are lots and lots of other companies out there, but I guess the purpose of today is really just to show you guys what we use and what we recommend to customers, so that they can kind of get started and move quickly. I definitely think if you're a local business and you sell locally, a .co.nz or a .nz is a much nicer feel to your online presence. You know, you want people to know that you're local. You want people to know, and we've got that local support where it's New Zealand businesses and New Zealand people supporting other New Zealanders. So your online presence should reflect that. And a .co.nz doesn't cost a lot more than a .com kind of domain handle, but it is worth getting. And the other thing that I would say around domain handles and domains is make them nice and short. Short and simple is usually the best way. A lot of people have tried to put all their kind of keywords or services into their domain, and it's not really the place for that. You know, you really just want it to be your brand, and you let the website kind of do the rest. So moving on, we've got what platform you choose, and there's a whole lot of different platforms out there. But in our mind at Lead Social, there's kind of two ways you can go. The first way is looking at some of these really easy do-it-for-you solutions. If you're looking for something that you don't really need any technical knowledge on how to design or make the site look good, and have that shopping e-commerce function pretty much taken care of for you, then these options that are in front of you are the kind of our go-tos. Shopify, I think, is the most popular out of the four that we've got there, and I'm sure everyone's probably brought something through a Shopify site before, or at least looked at products. But there's four very similar products out there in the market, which range in costs from about $29 a month up to 250 odd, depending on what kind of plan and what kind of volume you're doing. They are really good as a I guess an easy, quickest and easiest setup is definitely these platforms. The thing to be careful about, I guess, is that they are somewhat limited. Because they are easy to set up, you don't get the ability to go in and change anything and everything in there. So, you know, if you are looking to set up a really high volume e-commerce store that's doing a lot of traffic, and you're looking to, you know, to really shift your business purely online, some businesses might find that these platforms are a little bit restrictive. And if that is the case, then that's when you can look at developing something that has probably greater potential. It's a little bit harder to set this one up, but definitely in terms of you know, capabilities further down the track, this site or this combination of a WordPress website and a WooCommerce plugin is a really good way to do it. So WordPress is a platform where you build the site, and it shows you your theme, and it gives you a content management system. So it's a really easy way, and it's a low cost solution to getting a website set up. And then the WooCommerce side takes care of all of that shopping, commerce, checkout sort of setup. Again, it's probably pretty similar in terms of ongoing costs to things like Shopify, but it does take a little bit more to get it set up and get it underway and going. One of the things we do talk to customers about, I guess, when we look at costs behind setting up a e-commerce platform, the big cost doesn't usually come from setting it up initially. The big cost and the big investment from business owners usually comes from if we have to redevelop a site. So if we can do a site, do it once and do it right, you typically save a lot more money over that period, rather than starting on, say, a Wix or a Shopify platform and then shifting to another platform later on. So if you can kind of, I guess, plan for the future and front foot what you'd like to achieve over the next, say, year or two or three, then hopefully it means that you're not going to get started, figure out that this is something that you want to do, and then have to go and, you know, change your platform and go through that whole process, because again, that can be costly in terms of, you know, time or money that you have to invest into it. So on that WordPress platform, over 35% of the world's websites are built on WordPress. It's a good platform. It's what they call open source, which means that developers all over the world can create products and create themes and create services for it, which is really nice. It means that it's become a pretty competitive marketplace, and there's a whole lot of opportunity there. And that's probably the most popular platform in the world. So no one else has got as big a market share as what WordPress does. Really quickly, once you've chosen what platform you want to be on, so you've registered your domain, you've chosen what platform you want to be on, the next one to look at is where your emails are coming from. And typically there's two options that we would suggest to customers for this. The first is G Suite. So that's run by Google, and it's a really good platform. It means that you get to have an email with whatever your name is or whatever your title is, and then your domain. So you could say, my one is steve@leadsocial.co.nz. So you don't have to have @Gmail or @Yahoo or @MSN or anything like that. It can just be quite professional and quite easy for customers to find you, which is nice. The other benefit of G Suite is that it does come with a lot of other tools along the way. So Google Drive is part of G Suite, and that's the storage, kind of like a Dropbox solution. Google Docs, which is another great tool which we use here at Lead Social. Calendars, and they've got their own version of Zoom. So there's a whole lot of tools available in that G Suite package. Off the top of my head, I think it's about $5 a month to have one email or one profile on there. And it can grow as your business grows. The other one that we've recommended is Outlook. So if people are used to using Outlook and they want to use Outlook 365, and that's the setup that they've got, then that's also another good system. So we've registered our domain, we've chosen what platform we're going to build it on, and we've got that underway. The next to choose is what your payment gateway is. So your payment gateway takes care of processing the transactions. And in the last sort of probably 3 or 4 years, there's been a whole lot of new developments in this space, which is really cool as we see the e-commerce space growing. The two platforms that again we suggest to customers is Stripe and PayPal. PayPal's been around for years, but they have been keeping up to date with industry changes, which is awesome. And Stripe is probably more of a more recent addition to the market than PayPal would be, but definitely good options. And to be fair, they're 6 1/2 dozen, I think, between fees and functionality and stuff like that, but both will do what you need to do. And both free to sign up for, so you don't have to pay to get started or to have a look around and sort of see what it's like. And then our 5 steps, again, just running through those so that we've got that covered. So we've grabbed our domain, making it nice and simple. We've chosen our platform. We choose where you want your emails to run through. We've chosen our payment gateway system, whichever brand it is. And then our job is to link it all up. So we just need to make sure that our domain points to where we built our website. We need to make sure that our emails are pointing to whatever system we want to use, and we've integrated those payment gateways. In 15 minutes, I can't show us how to do all of those steps, unfortunately, but Google is your best friend through all of this. If you come across any problems, if you're not too sure how to do it, there's an absolute wealth of information on Google, and you won't be the only person that's had those troubles. So I definitely encourage people to just quickly open another tab, Google whatever problem that you're having, and 9 times out of 10, you'll find a solution for it or a step-by-step guide as to how to fix that. So really encourage that sort of setup. And then obviously once you've done all of that, then you're set up and you're live and you're ready to go, which is pretty cool. I had 5 quick tips just to finish up, because I think I've probably used up all my time. But once you've got that e-commerce website set up, number 1 tip that we give people is to take great photos of your products. Picture says 1,000 words. And I think if people are looking at your product versus another product, and you've got a better photo versus your competitor, you're automatically a shoe in the door for potentially getting that thing. And I guess it's about taking pride with what your products are. If you're really proud of what you've created or what you bring in or what you buy, then I think making sure that your imagery reflects that is a really good move. Making sure it all works well on mobile. So almost all those sites that I've shown you are mobile friendly and responsive by nature. But you just want to make sure that it still works well on mobile. So just because it is mobile responsive doesn't mean that it's optimized for it or it works as well as it possibly could. So I definitely encourage businesses to, when they set up an online store, to pretend to be a customer and jump on there on a mobile and go through that process and make sure that it does work as it should. And it kind of leads into that third point of make the checkout process easy. Because if you've got hurdles in that checkout process, or it's not easy, then people, not as many people will make it through that sale process as what you could. So I'd encourage people to make that as easy as possible. Like I said, some of those platforms like Shopify and Wix don't give you too much control as to what you can change. But definitely, thanks, Matt. But definitely making the checkout process as easy as possible will help conversions. And I think everyone's been in the position where we've added something to cart and we've got towards the end, and then we've decided that's too hard to check out. We've ended up leaving that in the cart or exited out. Similar to our first point, number 4 is detailed descriptions and titles. I guess if this is your only chance to sell your product, if you're not talking to a customer or seeing the customer face to face, then we have to rely on our descriptions and our titles to really sell our product. So make sure that they are filled in and complete, and do a good job of selling it. And the 5th one that we plead to customers, if they can do it, is free shipping. It may sound like a funny recommendation, but the amount of sales that we see on shops that have free shipping and offer free shipping compared to sites that don't is phenomenal. And I think as a business model, if you can build in free shipping into the pricing, then you'll increase your conversions and you'll actually generate more sales. So we do a lot of split tests with different customers, especially in the fast moving consumer goods space, where we'll offer a 15% discount or we'll offer free shipping. And 9 times out of 10, free shipping wins, even if the discount is less than what 15% off that product would be. So have a think about it, try and build it into your pricing, build it into your system. And if you don't think it's working, you can always change it later on. So, and PS at the end there, PS setting up your shop is only the first step. So once we've got that shop set up, then you have to do work around generating traffic and generating customers. And I think that's what our next speaker is going to be talking about. So I might hand back over to you, Toby, if you want to introduce our next speaker.
Yeah, just before we go on to Louise, is there any quick questions for Steve? Okay, Steve, I've got a question from Eddie Morrow. Will you make a copy of your presentation available after the meeting?
Absolutely.
This whole, I think we're recording all of this, so it'll be available. We can send it out. Is that right, Rebecca? I'm just looking for.
Yeah, that's correct.
I think we started a little bit late, but apart from most of Steve's presentation is in there, and all the others will be as well. Yeah.
Awesome.
Steve, I have a quick question. Can you hear me?
Yep. Hi.
I'm just wondering if you've built a website on, say, Shopify, and you sort of mentioned the other 2 websites, sort of, is it Woo and WordPress from memory. At what point would you suggest transitioning from, say, a Shopify-based platform to a WordPress platform? At what point does it become a better option?
For sure. So I guess it only becomes a better option if you're finding some restrictions from Shopify. So if Shopify is doing everything that you want it to, and there are an awesome range of plugins available for Shopify and things like that, then there's absolutely no reason to change. It's more just, I guess we've seen over the years a few customers come on board who have started with Shopify and then are looking for integrations, and typically they're custom integrations, or they're things to do with shipping or things to do with their inventory system, where Shopify may not do the task. And I guess if we'd sat down and planned with that customer, at the start of the process, then they might have avoided kind of going down that rabbit hole of one platform. But I guess to answer your question again, if you don't have any restrictions, by all means, then I think Shopify is a really good platform to use.
Thank you.
No worries.
And another question, oh yes, that one's been answered. So yeah, we can send out his contact details. Probably something that we could do is once this group is finished, everybody's registered, so we've got everybody's emails. You could set up a Google document platform or a group where if you were all individually going out and trying to do your websites rather than having to stumble through Google and read stuff, you'd be able to quickly ask and respond with questions as you're working through it, because some of you will have different difficulties in different areas, and working together as a team will ultimately help you all get to the end goal, I would think. So I took something really good out of that. It was that short and simple is the key. So I'm both short and simple, so I'm on a winner already. So we're going to move on to our next speaker, Louise Stephens. And Louise is a business strategist and a digital marketing coach, and she's based in Waihi. And she's going to help us through selling on social and getting our business recognition out there in the social network world. So good morning, Louise.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for having me along today. I can still see Steve's screen, and I don't know if can I override that if I share my screen?
You should be able to, but Steve, you've had your turn.
You
Steve,
cannot share screen.
Cannot share screen.
Can you please unshare your screen?
I guess I could for you.
Otherwise, I'm happy to go through that again for everyone.
Where are we? Here we go.
Excellent.
There we go.
Thank you. All right. Let's see what I've got. Perfect. So I have minimized my video, so I can't see anyone, but I will be able to see questions if anyone's got anything. And I simply do that so that I don't get too distracted, which is quite easy for me. So as you've already heard, my name is Louise. I live in Waihi. I'm a business strategist. I am a New Zealand business mentor. I'm registered with the Regional Business Partnership Program, and I'm an ex-corporate leader. So when I left to start my own business, I was like a lot of you, and I had no idea how to go about starting a website, launching an e-commerce platform, and how to actually, I guess, grow a network of people, of ideal customers and clients who would get to know who I was and what I did and how I could help them. And of course, I've now been in business for just under 4 years. And over that time, I have dedicated hours to be able to understand how to grow a business online. And now I teach women in business how to market and sell their products and services online, predominantly at the moment in Australia and New Zealand. So, and I have an absolute field day doing that. But I won't sit here and go on all about me. We'll talk about ultimately selling on social, and 3 quick ways to help you guys grow your business on social media post-lockdown. Now, I'm a bit of a why person, and the first things that I want to know is, why should I be actually marketing my business online in the first place? And I think in light of recent events, we've all got a little bit more of an idea on why online world can actually work for us. But to give you guys a little bit of information about this, in 2018, studies showed that between 70 to 80% of people research online before purchasing and investing in our products or services. Last year, pre-COVID, that number increased to 90%. And it's my guess, and I think backed up by Steve saying that there's been a massive spike in domain registration, that we're going to see an increase again as online shopping has become the new normal due to recent events. Now, why does social media help us? Why do platforms like Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, why are they going to help our business? I guess I've got a list of reasons here, but just to kind of, I guess, highlight a couple of them with you. Social media helps us build our brand awareness, and it gives us the opportunities as small business owners to showcase who we are, our values, and our expertise. And it doesn't have to just be used on a global network, but we have the opportunity to target our local community and ultimately build relationships with them through the way in which we structure our content and deliver that through the online space. Another really great reason is that it's the opportunity to drive traffic to our online booking site and e-commerce store. And I guess, as Steve mentioned, it's great to have these platforms up and launched and ready to go, but they are not, the magic pill, of course, for us to be driving business through our sites online. And this gives us the opportunity to use a social platform for business and to be able to drive that traffic over to our booking site and e-commerce store to be able to get those sales in. in the back end of an e-commerce store, in the analytics, or even in your website, we have the opportunity to see where that traffic is coming from. And I guess, you know, understand if it's coming from Facebook or Instagram, or Google or somewhere else. And that's really powerful to know, I guess, how our marketing message is being seen by our ideal customer and what platforms they're actually registering interest in our brand and our product and our service. Ultimately, the key thing with any form of buying, and especially in the online world, is that it gives us the opportunity to get our customer to know, like, and trust us. Then they can come along and follow us or like us if it's on Facebook, which ultimately over time is going to convert these people into sales, which of course, as business owners, we love. Now, today I could talk to you about a number of different social platforms, but I chose to focus on Facebook, mainly because I think that it's the #1 platform that most people are on, or at least have heard about, and to give you guys a few quick tips on how to start using this platform to generate sales if you're not already doing that. So why Facebook? There's 2.41 billion monthly active users, and 1.59 billion people on average log into Facebook daily. And what I was surprised to hear is that that increases on average by 8% per year. And over the recent times, there's been a lot of criticism towards Facebook. There's been a lot of, is Facebook dead? Is it still going to be around? Why should I be using it? And as you can see, based on these numbers, it is very much alive and kicking, and it continues to grow year on year. As a social platform and as a business platform, we have the opportunity to get our businesses in front of its social users. So how can I use Facebook as part of my marketing strategy? So where are we all at now? So you're either on Facebook for business and you're not using it at all. You might be on it, you're occasionally posting, but you haven't really needed to. Maybe you've got a face-to-face business, a bricks and mortar or a retail front, and you've focused more on that side of your business as opposed to online. Maybe you're posting regularly and nothing is happening. The tumbleweeds flow through, you're confused, and you're not getting any likes or hearts or comments or shares, and ultimately no sales. Otherwise, you're on Facebook and you're absolutely nailing it, which is amazing. But my guess is that many of us are in those first 3 categories. And I guess the point of today is to be able to share with you how you could start changing that a little bit. Now, Facebook gives us lots of different tools. We have got business pages, we have got groups, we've got stories, we've got Facebook Lives. But because of course I have 15 minutes, not 10 hours, I'm going to take you through how to create captions that convert. So a caption is ultimately what we are writing on our Facebook business page, or if you use Instagram or a different platform, it's a very similar strategy, and how to start building brand awareness, encouraging our ideal customer or client to read our content and get to know what we do, why we do it, and how we do it, and ultimately start driving engagement and, of course, sales through our door. So when I first started, I knew I wanted an online business, and I knew I needed to start posting across my platforms, only I was stuck with what I should be writing, how to write content that would showcase who I was, what my product and service was, as well as encourage social users to engage my post without feeling like a sleazy car salesman and selling all the time. I knew that if I could nail my content strategy and increase my likes, it would build engagement and ultimately it would start to bring me sales. So how did I go about, or what did I do in order to be able to achieve those outcomes that we all want to have, which is ultimately sales through our business? So step 1 is to get clear on who it is that you're talking to. Now, if you were at the previous Business Buy event in Christmas time, we had a great session around our customer avatar. And if you are like me, every time I hear customer avatar, I kind of roll my eyes and I go, really? Do I have to go back here? Now, the thing is that to this day, I write copy for paid ads or prepare my daily posts. And the first thing I do is I sit down and I put myself into my perfect customer or client shoes. I have to remember that I'm not always that person on a day-to-day basis, and it helps me go back to, you know, who that person is to make sure that my message is targeted towards that person. One of the biggest problems or challenges I see a lot of online business owners making is that they try to target all of those billions of people out there, hoping that they're going to get one sale. But if we can really define who it is, that one person that we want our post to reach on a day-to-day basis, we will achieve far greater success. And the good thing is that when we reach that one person, we reach multiple people, assuming that we've got multiple, you know, customers and clients that's sitting online. So I'm not going to go into the, you know, the ins and outs of how to identify your customer. But I guess when you are sitting there and identifying who your product or service is for, what are their values, what are their hobbies, you know, what are in alignment with you and your business, the biggest thing is at the end of the day to say, what is the biggest challenge or problem that they're having right now? And how does my product or service solve that problem? And once you've done that, the great thing is that you can then go on to step 2, which is to plan your content based on those challenges and problems, which of course are going to be able to work towards your monthly sales goals. So how do we go about actually creating the content? Because a lot of people I talk to say, well, Lou, it's great that you want me to post on social on a regular basis, but what am I going to talk about? And which is a great question. I've sat there too. I'm sure some of you guys have sat there as well. So it's in my recommendation to create what we call categories and create 7 of them. So 1 each day of the week that relates to your business, and we can rotate through these each week to make it a lot easier for ourselves. Now, I also want to just say here that if writing posts 7 days a week is just way too much because you've not been doing anything, then start small with 3 or 4 or 5. Start with where you can commit to, and then if you want to, you can, you know, you can grow. One of the most important things is that we are posting consistently, not, you know, multiple on a day and then no one hears from us for a few days and then going again. That brings inconsistency, and that can really break the trust with our ideal customer or client sitting online. People want to see consistency. You know, it builds comfort and it builds that relationship as opposed to that kind of on-off type of scenario. So what do I mean by categories? So I've got a couple of examples here. So the thing is to sit down, and once you've identified who your ideal customer or client is, and what, you know, their values are, what their hobbies are, and what is in relation to your business, we can go ahead and create these categories based on our values, based on us, based on what aligns with them, as well as showcase, of course, our product and our services. So I've got 2 examples here to kind of show you, to give you a bit of an idea. The one in the top corner, of course, is this was an example from one of my clients. She has a product-based business that's fully online, and she was kind enough to share exactly how she goes about planning her content to be able to give us all a bit of a tip. So on Mondays, she does a sale, so which is not as in a product is on sale, it is a sales post, you know, towards one of the products that she has available, and she has a call to action to head to her e-commerce store or to take the required action, you know, buy now or limited time, hurry now, or whatever it may be. She's creating that call to action for her ideal customer to take that next step. Tuesday, new product and feature. She's got kids items, so she might have a new bib, or she's showcasing it behind the scenes of how she's going about making that new product. Wednesday, she does a personal post or a gratitude post with a call to action as a question. Then Thursday, a call to action with a sale, question again, quote, and then again another question. So what this really highlights is that she is using her product to sell, but she's also building relationships and engagement by asking questions and then driving traffic for people to want to know more about her and her business. Now in the bottom corner, I've got an example of my 7 categories. I have a call to action on every post. It's not always to buy. It is often, if I'm doing an about me post, right, so now you tell me something fun about you or what you're up to or whatever it may be. Of course, on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays are more targeted at my actual services, but highlighting different aspects. Wednesday, I share my why. At the end of the day, people buy why you do what you do, not specifically what it is. Personal insight, and then some motivation and inspiration to help us get through the next week ahead. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. I do have some examples coming up to kind of showcase to you how that actually looks, which is of course here. Step 3, writing engaging captions that convert. So first up, the first step in the writing process is to identify the topic you want to post about, and then come up with what we call a hook to capture your audience's attention. So this can come in the form of a, specifically targeting your audience. So, hi mums, or, attention women in business, or whatever's related to your ideal customer. You could reveal a secret, something that could be controversial, a juicy share that makes your target audience want to read more, or ask an engaging question to encourage your target audience to want to read more and answer. So here's a couple of examples. On the side of my coaching business, I've also got a product-based business which is currently in hibernation. It just literally launched the day before lockdown, so we'll start bringing that through soon. But as you can see, the top here, it's got the time has come to let the cat out of the bag. So that's, I guess, something inquisitive for people to go, oh, what's out of the bag? And then on the other side, in case you don't already know this, I'm the worst kept secret in the worst secret keeper in the world. So this kind of identifies I'm about to share a secret, and so people want to be able to read more. Now the second step is to share a story or something insightful or something relatable to what it is that you are actually talking about in your post. So again, looking back at, these 2 examples, if we look at the 2 Creative Girls option, which is a product-based business, what we're actually wanting to share with our audience is that we're officially open for business. Then we go on to share a little bit of a story, around, a little bit of the journey that we have gone on to launch, and, kind of builds a relationship with our ideal customer, and they feel like they're on that journey as well. On the other side, again, it's another story revealing what my secret was all about. So building that relationship again, and, and sharing something about myself so that people can get to know who I am through reading the content that I share. And finally, I mentioned before, is to ensure that you have a call to action. At the end of the day, one of the biggest mistakes that can be made is that people do, amazing posts, but we forget to actually have a call to action at the end, telling our ideal customer what they need to do. So if I'm showcasing a new product, and I want that person to go and click on a link or head to my website or my e-commerce store to go and check out that product. And then Steve has taken us through, some suggestions on how to get that person to actually buy. And it's the same, for a service-based business. I'm trying to get people to engage. If anyone's ever heard of an algorithm, it is, something that's in the back end of a platform to help drive our content into larger audiences. Engagement is our #1 key for that. So not only are we wanting people to go and find out more about us, we want them to engage with us so that we can continue to build a relationship with them and get our business out into a wider reach. So an example of this here at the bottom, of the left, if you're ready to check out what all the fuss is about and to start shopping, simply head to. Then we have our website available. On the other side of that, it's amazing that what COVID-19 can teach us. What's one thing that you've recently learned about yourself? So both of those have got, strong call to actions based on the outcome that we're wanting this post to achieve. Now, one of the greatest pieces of advice I've been given on my online marketing journey that I wanted to share with you is to not make it complicated. If a 7-year-old doesn't understand what you've written or what you want them to do once they've read your post, no one's going to. So we want to keep it super basic so that our audience knows what we're talking about, you know, why they should be reading it, and, you know, learning something about your product or your service or about you, and then a call to action at the end based on what it is that we are wanting them to do. And ultimately, you know, the engagement and our sales is a clear indicator. If our posts are on the right track, if our ideal customer or client is getting to know you, like you, and trust you by the engagement, by the comments, maybe by the messages or the emails, and of course, how much traffic is hitting your website or e-commerce store. Another quick tip is to post at the time that your ideal customer or client will be online. The way that we do this in Facebook is to go to our Facebook business pages. Then across the top, there's that tab where we can see more. If we click on Insights, we'll get to that middle screen, and it gives us a whole bunch of data which we can use. And then if we scroll down the left-hand side under Overview, we go ahead and click on Posts, and it will open up all the data around, you know, each day of the week, and of course our ideal time that we can schedule or that we can be posting our content. Now, one thing to recognize is that these times are in Pacific time zone, which is America. So just make sure that you're converting that to our time. You know, I think my ideal time is 11 p.m, but that's not in New Zealand. It is about 7 p.m. in the day, or, you know, so it's important to make sure that you've translated that. Otherwise, all your hard work won't be seen by your ideal customer and clients. And finally, you know, track your results. I'm a big fan of tracking things. Here's an example for you of a client of mine who tracked her results. This is the showcase, the first month since adopting this style of creating captions. Her main business, or her main platform, is LinkedIn. So you will see some amazing results that she's had on that platform. But in terms of Facebook, you know, her engagement was so low when we first started working together, and no one was seeing her posts. And you can see that through increasing her engagement, the reach, which means how many people are actually seeing those posts, has increased dramatically. And if you're using Instagram, then the same strategy applies. You know, you can see the results there as well. She had no one seeing any of her posts that she was putting out there. Whereas by week 3 and week 4, you know, we've started to see some amazing, you know, interaction. Her engagement rate, which is her people that are commenting, has, you know, phenomenally increased, and more people are actually seeing what she's writing, which is of course very important for your business. So that is my presentation today. I have commonly had feedback that I talk too quickly, so I hope that I haven't spoken too fast. But of course, you're welcome to contact me after this and ask any questions. I actually have a guide which is called Creating Engaging Captions That Convert, which I'm happy to send out, as well as this presentation. And of course, you know, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and you are more than welcome to come along and connect with me. Otherwise, I thank you so much for having me here today, and I hope that that has been insightful and given you a little bit of help in terms of starting to move your business forward on social.
Thank you very much for that, Louise. That was quite in depth, and I learned a few tricks there. So I might use that in the next election campaign. Is there any questions before we quickly move on from Louise? I can't see all your faces, so you'll just have to jump in. It's good that we've got 35 participants, so it takes up 2 pages of Zoom, which is absolutely fantastic. If you are needing any help in this, please don't hesitate to make contact with Peter Davey or Colleen, if you're here as well, Colleen, who are our Te Waka representatives for the Hauraki. And if you're unsure how to get in contact with them, please don't hesitate, get in contact with Rebecca, myself, or any one of the counsellors, and they'll put you in touch. and there's some funding available to help you get some one-on-one sessions with these people. So don't hesitate to use it. That's what it's there for. That's why we all pay our taxes. So utilize it where you can. So we're going to move on to our next guru, which is all about apps, and we're pretty lucky to have someone of that caliber that works for us at council. Chris, good morning, Chris. He's one of the gurus in our IT department, and he's always furiously working behind the scenes, but he's got some pretty cool ideas to help you with some apps. So good morning, Chris.
Morning everyone. Yeah, I'm the IT development team leader at Hauraki District Council. I feel largely unqualified after the last two people that have spoken to talk to you, but I'll quickly go through what I'm going to go through anyway. So what I want to quickly go through today is just some of the apps that are available. Steve touched on them briefly, a couple of them, to get your business quickly online so you can sell products online quite quickly. I think Steve's point about really assessing where you want your business to go as far as your online presence goes is really important to start with, and looking at whether you want to go for a more customizable full solution like the WordPress, or engaging someone like Steve to look at what you can do online. So these apps I'm going to show you now are really for, we're a small business, we want to get online quickly. We don't want that time and cost investment of developing our own platform. So we want to use something that exists already. Just going to share my screen here. So I've been looking through these apps. There's thousands of them around the world. So I tried to focus on a few local ones as well, and then covered a couple of the big players in the market. Just going to share one of these screens with you. Let's try this one. So I've got these little cheat sheets for a few of these online offerings. They'll be available after the presentation as well. Facebook, we've been through a little bit already, but as far as selling on Facebook, there are good ways to put your products on there. So Facebook, you can make a marketing page or a marketplace page of your own that's specifically tailored for putting products on, showing their price. They can be marked as sold and unsold. So that's a way to get on there. It's obviously a platform that Louise spoke about. It's very common. Everyone knows what it is, how to get to it, and a lot of people already have Facebook profiles and are using Facebook on a daily basis. So that makes it quite a good channel for quickly getting yourself out there. There's no payment options on Facebook, so you can't actually take payment from your customers. You need to direct them to another way of paying for the product. Actually tracking orders, if you get a lot of them for high volume, is pretty difficult as well. And then users that don't have Facebook, those people do exist in the world, will find it quite difficult to find you and do any interact with you on Facebook that way, because they can't message you or opt to purchase any of those products. I'll go to Shopify next, because that's one that Steve covered. So it's basically an e-commerce platform that allows you to get your store up and running quickly. So they take care of all of the work in the background and hosting it and building it and everything. You just go on and say, well, I want these products on, here's the photos, the prices, those sort of details. It's very easy to get set up. The cost is, like Steve said, it's about $30 US a month for the cheapest platform, and then they charge transaction fees on top of that. So some of the advantages of that is it's really full featured. It's been around a long time, and it's had a lot of input into that. It's stable and really well established, and it's quite flexible as far as these sort of offerings go. On the negative side, it's difficult to integrate that with an existing website. So if you already have an online presence, you may end up with this kind of double online presence, which is not great. And as Steve mentioned, transitioning from Shopify, if you start with that and decide to move to a more customized platform, that's quite difficult. And it is a little bit of a learning curve to get set up in that sort of a platform. What next? Swiftly.nz. So this is a really new offering since the COVID-19 issues came up. It's a team of New Zealanders that got together, identified that there was a gap in the market for people that are suddenly needing to get themselves online, and they've put this website and app together. It's a very basic version of Shopify, essentially. So you sign up, you can put your products on there, all of your details, and then people can browse your shop and purchase products that way. They do a free offering, but the free offering doesn't provide any payment methods. So people can find your products, they can contact you and order the product online, but you have to arrange a payment with them separately. They do offer a paid version that does take online payments. Very easy to use, really quick to get set up. Like I say, can take those online payments if you go to the paid version. Because it's so quick and easy to set up and such a new offering, it's very inflexible. It's a sort of a one-size-fits-all offering, and there's always a bit of a caveat with new products in the market, that it's new, still in its development phase, and there's a bit of a risk associated with that it's a platform that doesn't work that well, or that they can't maintain all of those sort of risks that go along with it. So those are, this Shopify and Swiftly are really good for your consumer goods type idea. There's a couple of specific sites that are set up for food outlets. So I'll have a quick look at those. Eat Local. This is another one that's sprung up within the COVID lockdown period. Basically, it's an online offering for food outlets. So it's really well tailored to taking orders for food, tracking those, offering all of the customizations that go with, I don't want this in my meal, I do want that sort of thing. Relatively cheap, 5% per transaction. It's a flat fee, so there's no setup fee, but it's just that ongoing 5%. Again, it's a New Zealand based, fairly easy to use. They handle all of the payments and everything, and just pay you out. I think it's weekly with Eat Local, I can't quite remember. So that takes a lot of that difficulty out of the equation. Again, because it's new, there's that risk of the new product in development, and it's a little restrictive on its look and feel as well. It intends to offer a delivery service, much like sort of Uber does, but that's not yet available. Having some issues with sorting out the technicalities behind that, but that's sort of where they're heading. And in much the same vein, there's a new one called Chippy, which is again an online platform specifically for food outlets. Looks to be more designed to be an encompassing solution, so you'd run it in the back end as well, in-house. So you'd have, they offer a kitchen view, so you'd have a tablet in your kitchen that lists all of the orders, what's coming in. Yeah, again, it's 5% transaction fee, which is reasonable, and no setup costs. So that's, I think, for a food outlet, particularly one that does high volume, could be quite a good offering. They're looking at integration with POS systems in New Zealand. They can integrate any receipt printers you have on site, so you can get physical orders printing on a receipt printer. Seems to be a fairly good offering. I guess with all of these, I mean, that's a very quick overview. We'll send out these little cheat sheets afterwards anyway. With all of these online offerings, it's really important to consider what your aim is with your online business, and look at the risks and benefits and what each one offers pretty carefully. Once you get your name and your business out there online, say you went with Shopify, if you don't have your own domain name and you use the Shopify domain, that becomes your business's link. People will remember that, they'll have looked at that before, and you very quickly get sort of locked into these platforms. So it's quite important that you take a step back at the start, make sure signing up to the correct platform, getting online for the right reasons. But Steve has really covered that well. So that's me, I think. Thank you.
Awesome, thanks for that, Chris. Geez, I'm learning heaps today, which is absolutely awesome. Is there any questions for Chris before we quickly move on? I'll give you a... No, just right at the end before we close off, as you notice, it's Ross Harris's birthday today, so it'd be nice if we could all sing happy birthday. He's excited about that. And so we're going to move on to, we've got a counsellor here, Paul Anderson. Hopefully you're still here. You've gone off my screen, Paul. But he is also a counsellor and a business owner within Waihi, and he's going to give us a little case study on what he's been doing with his business since COVID-19. Morning, Paul.
Thanks, Toby. Good morning, everyone. I'm Paul, obviously, from Diamonds on Seddon, jewellery and gift store in Waihi. I've been asked to give some insights on how social media is working for our business. Firstly, I just want to say I will use we a lot, but in reality, this is the work of, mainly the work of my wife, Delwyn. First of all, we pump Facebook a lot. We've always posted twice a day, normally once in the morning, once at night. Since moving to level 3, we now post 3 times a day, with the middle of the day post normally being a video featuring a range of products we carry. We always have one special at that time, normally around sort of 50% off, just to get that hook, get people engaged. Funnily enough, the most personal posts about us are the most that create the most reactions. On Friday, we did a post on whether I should keep my lockdown bed. It created 120 reactions. I just have to say, only 3 negative, so it's staying for a while. Once we moved to level 4, my wife did a post creating a Facebook special on baby blankets and rattle set offering. She offered a special price plus freight, and the supplier would freight them direct to the customers because it was deemed an essential product and they were allowed to send them. We sold 17 packs. One post paid the least for 2 weeks. So that's how important it is. Probably the coolest thing we've done is host watch parties on Facebook, where I will video Delwyn while she shows all the stock we have in store, encouraging people to ask questions about products or even just say hi. I read the messages to Delwyn and she'll respond to the customer straight away in a live format. The first one we did was over 40 minutes long and showed most of the products we have in store. The great thing was that people were able to refer back to the video to see what we have. Last night we hosted a Mother's Day special party, encouraging dads and kids to shop for mum. Typically these events have tended to create sales for a week or so afterwards, so they're really worth doing. It's definitely a hard way to work. My wife is averaging 15 hours a day at the moment. She starts around 7 in the morning, checking overnight messages, and finishes around 10 p.m. Dealing with an average of sort of 15 to 20 customers a day through Messenger, with some sales taking up to 20 messages back and forward. But considering most messages turn into a sale, our turnover is similar to a normal retail day, so it's well worth it. We have also advertised on other Facebook pages, with one being New Zealand Made page. And we've got requests from sort of 4 people about information on having jewellery made within the first day. So that's another really good way of getting your business out there. A good 80% of what we post sells. We have sent to Auckland, Tauranga, Hamilton and Fielding in the last week. Funnily enough, we've been trying to set up our online store, but we're too busy selling on social media. And just to wrap up, engaging with your customers is key. I personally can't stress this enough. So okay, I'll keep doing it. Thanks.
Awesome, thanks, Paul. And that's a clear showing of yes, it's hard work, but getting anywhere in life is hard work, unfortunately, or fortunately, doesn't matter which way you look at it. But just thinking outside the box and using a different avenue in this time. And Paul, you seem to be happy with the way it's been going, and financially, it's paying off in the long run.
Yeah, definitely at the moment, people are keen to shop. I don't think it's going to last forever, but while it's there, you've got to make the most of it.
Yeah, and I was trying to buy my wife, wasn't this through this process, but I've dealt with Delwyn trying to work secretly to buy a Mother's Day present. I think it was a birthday present And there was about 25, 30 messages going back and forth till we landed on the right thing. But yeah, so they do stick to their goals and making sure that the customer is right no matter how long it takes. So awesome work, Paul. So now we've got another awesome project that's just been launched, and I'm not going to take the kudos for it because I didn't have anything to do with it. So I want the person that has had a lot to do with it, another councillor who also wears a couple of hats, as a strong community advocate, as a town promoter for Paira and Positive Paira, and just an all-round good person, Joe Tilsley. Alex, have you got a question? You keep raising your hand up. No, he's just stretching. No, he's just stretching. Yeah, and doing his hair. So Joe, welcome, and I want you to tell us a little about what you've been up to and what you've got, what exciting new things you've got coming for us.
Thank you, Toby. Morena, everybody. Lovely to see your smiling faces so bright and early. You will be aware of Evolve Hauraki. Obviously, that's the forum that invited you to attend this morning. It's a collaboration between Te Waka Hauraki District Council, Go Waihi, Positively Promoting the Plains, and Positive Paira. Since we went into lockdown, we've been Zooming weekly, talking about state of play across our district, particularly for our businesses. And one of the things that has come out of those meetings is we have made the determination to set up a new platform that will showcase, hopefully, every business offering in Hauraki. So we have created a website called Love Hauraki. You can jump online. It's called lovehauraki.nz. We're going to encourage every business to get registered on that website. It's completely free, and we will keep it as up to date as you allow us to. So anytime anything changes in your business, let us know, and we will keep that up to date. This lovehauraki.nz will also have an accompanying Facebook page, and the Facebook page is will be all around showcasing local business, good news stories that comes out of it. So when we talk about community and we talk about local, we're talking about the Hauraki district. We know that we are stronger when we work together. So in the first instance, it's really about asking our community to support local. That's going to be massively important for all of us coming out of COVID-19 and into the future. But Love Hauraki is very future focused. So our plan is that the platform will continue to grow, and we'll be able to offer more through it as time goes on. So if I can ask, once we finish today, once you've made that next cup of coffee, jump onto lovehauraki.nz and get your businesses registered. Really, really simple.
Awesome, thanks for that, Joe. Okay, we're just about come to the end. And as Paul was alluding to, COVID-19 has changed the landscape of business throughout New Zealand. We're going for a period of a different way to do business, not necessarily through the front of the shop door, so online, but we're also going to go through a period of some uncertainty and some unknowns as we continue to get out of this lockdown and going forward. I can't stress enough that we all work together. I know some of us might be in competing businesses, but if we all work together, not only the business owners, but the community, the Hauraki District Council and Te Waka, we'll all get through this. So don't hesitate to talk to even if it is your competitor, talk to them, talk to anybody else that's in business, see what they're going through, what challenges they've got, and what advice that they could give you. Don't hesitate to make contact with Ross Harris through the council, myself, or Rebecca or David at the HDC, and then we've also got our growth advisors, Peter Davey and Colleen. So use those people. They're there, and they're there to help. So don't hesitate. Is there anybody that's got any questions? And it doesn't even have to be related to this topic. You can just, we're just going to open the floor up and you can ask questions about anything you like. So Francis, I can see your hand up.
Yeah, hi Toby. That was so enlightening, very interesting. Thank you. So I have an idea. So as you know, I was in the tourism industry and I've been made redundant. I'm highly skilled. I would just love to be more involved with the community, but I don't have a shop and I don't have a business. How do I connect with people who I might be able to help. For instance, I'm a great writer, or there might be other things that I can do, or I just had this need to connect with people who might be able to help me, and I might be able to help them. But how do I connect with people in the Hauraki? Like, is there like a register of people who are redundant in the area?
Yeah, Steve, you've got a answer for this?
Absolutely. Can everyone hear me all right?
Yep.
Cool. I guess the easy way to reach out to a lot of people is to probably make use of some of those Facebook groups that do already exist. I did put a link into the Facebook, into our Zoom chat just before for the link to that group that Paul alluded to, the NZ Made Products one, which is really good. But I think there's probably a lot of local groups that you could probably touch base with and start some conversations with people. I think that's probably the easiest way. Obviously, LinkedIn is another really good platform when we're looking at social media tools to reach out to people and to put yourself out there as being available to help and I guess show off some of your skill sets. Other than, you know, meeting people face to face, those are some of the best tools that we've got at our disposal. And obviously a lot of people are using these tools more as we've got more time as we're at home and you know, relying on things other than face-to-face meetings. So I think for me, if I had more time on my hands and I was going to spend, and my objective was to get myself out there and to build some relationships and reach out to people, I'd be tapping into those Facebook groups because, again, as Louise mentioned, people are already there. We don't have to try and transition people to a new platform or to anything. That people are already using it. So there's a captive audience there for you to kind of tap into.
Thanks, Steve. Peter, David, did you have something else?
Yes, please. The other thing, obviously, Francis, is to become a business mentor. Join the Business Mentors NZ. That's a group that is nationwide, but also has a Waikato and a Hauraki focus. It's a reasonably formalized arrangement. I think Louise is a business mentor as well. And it's a very useful tool to be able to connect and support.
Okay, I like that idea. Yeah, with LinkedIn, it's a matter of finding the names of the people that you're looking for. And with Facebook, it's a matter of finding the right groups that are relevant to your needs.
Louise, did you have something to add?
LinkedIn, you could also, Francis, look for job titles. So you have the opportunity to search, like if there was a specific title.
Yes, I've been doing that. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
We've got a question from Michael, and then after Michael, we've got John. So we're going to have a Tansy question now.
He doesn't know what he's asking, mate. As far as getting to know the groups in the area, just give me a call at the information centre, and I'll pass you through to any of the groups I'm linked into. And if not me, talk to Joe. And,
okay, cool. Yeah, that's good. I'll do that today. Actually, that's really helpful.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, perfect.
John, did you have a question?
Hey Toby, good morning guys. This was actually a really good thing. Firstly, I've got a few questions that I've sent off to people individually. You know, I'm doing an online business and I find it quite fascinating, the challenges and the opportunities that come from it. But I'm kind of interested in if there's any information out there on organisations within Hauraki that are already online that may be offering like drop shipping services, so we can collaborate and maybe move product onto each other's websites and grow the breadth of our reach.
That's a very good point. And Joe's got an answer for that. So
maybe not an answer, but possibly a suggestion or a longer term solution. Again, a plug for Love Hauraki. If we can encourage everybody to get registered, then it'll be better. We'll be better equipped to be able to collaborate across the district. So again, really pushing that platform.
Yeah,
Awesome.
thanks, Joe. I'm definitely going to do that. And the linking, the backlinks that can come from that would really help us in Google search. So if we could work on that, that would also be great. Okay, thanks.
Awesome. Any other questions? We just go through that awkward silence like we did at the start, but there's nothing wrong with that. So thank you everybody for turning up. Great turnout this morning, absolutely fantastic. Probably one of our better turnouts, and maybe that's because we've done it on a digital platform. So it was quite fitting to have a digital meeting about a digital platform. So that was absolutely fantastic. And maybe this is a way of easily connecting with more businesses where it takes some of that stress of driving to somewhere or time constraints. So that might be something that even we look to in the future, is how we conduct these, and maybe these are conducted over this platform more often to encourage more users. So hopefully everyone has a fantastic day. Hopefully the sun comes out, because this my office, which is also a lounge room, is at icebox at the moment. So I wait for the sun to come out so I can warm up. So everyone have a fantastic day. And as I said, don't hesitate to, if you've got any other questions, just make contact with anyone that you've seen in this room, and we'll put you in touch with the right people. So we want to keep hearing from you, and we're certainly here to help as much as we possibly can. Your success is our success. So awesome. Have a great day, everybody, and thanks for turning up.
Are we singing happy birthday?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, true. Everybody, if you could all turn on your microphones
oh my
now.
God.